My name is Maureen Hankin. I am a community ambassador for Stratford East Theatre. I've always had a history of bringing my family to the theatre. And when I saw the advert online, I was actually looking for a play to come along to. I saw that and I thought, I can do this. I'll have a go at this. So I downloaded the application form, filled it all out and thought, oh my God, this is like a job. I'm applying for a job. Do I want a job? And then I thought, yes, I do. I'm going to do this. So I finished filling it out, sent it off, and got a reply in a couple of weeks and was astounded because they were interested. So I went for that. And the rest is history, really, because my feet haven't touched the ground since then. It's been fabulous, absolutely fabulous. My reasons for being an ambassador are many, really. I think, firstly, I enjoy people, and I never get to meet enough people in a day. And as an older member of this borough, Newham, I don't necessarily want to sit in a knitting group in the local library. I've not grown old gracefully. I have grown old full of spirit, and I'm very, very active. And I enjoy people. So part of that was I knew that as I came through these doors that I would be able to talk to strangers and it wouldn't be deemed to be peculiar, like standing at a bus stop talking to a stranger. It's not like that when you come through the doors of this theatre. Everybody knows everybody, whether you do or not. And everybody is very, very social and very nice. So that was my main reason. And also I wanted to be part of the scheme in the history of this theatre. Yeah. I spent a long time coming here over the years. And it's just nice to not always take, but to give a bit back. Well, one of them was I was doing one of the tours around the back of the theatre, and what started out as a very, very quiet group ended up with me being invited to one of their weddings, having just prompted someone to propose to his girlfriend, which he then went ahead and did in front of all of us. And I got an invite to the wedding. I haven't seen him since, mind you, but at that moment in time, I did. And I realised just how powerful a tool communication within this theatre is. And questions back from people. You may not always know the answer, but theatre has taught me how to actually negotiate around it and to use the audience to feed me with the answers, even if they don't know they're doing it. So that's something that the theatre's taught me, and actually you can carry that on in your everyday life. It's very valuable. I have to say, the booking office have been the most amazing group of people because they are so patient, and even if there's no mistakes, they will always find a seat for somebody who hasn't got a seat, and they do it with a smile on their face. And they remember your name as well, which is very, very good. It does help. And then there's been the other side of it, which has been a bit negative, which has been people that are getting tickets and they know they're funded tickets, decide right at the last minute, oh, actually, I'm not going to bother going because it might be raining. But I won't let anybody else know either, so that ticket can't be shared around. And I find that slightly insulting. I think it's wrong, because just because it's free doesn't mean you can just keep it in your pocket and do nothing with it. If you're not going to go, it's good manners to let the person involved know. So I very politely tell them, and if they do it a second time, then I drop them off the list. And I make sure that other people who I know are going to come along, I let them have the tickets. But overall, it's been the most amazing experience because there are so many families out here in Newham who can't afford theatre tickets. Even £35 for a ticket is too much. It makes a difference between putting something on the table or a pair of shoes on a child's feet. So for them to be able to come along and defuse, step outside of Newham just by walking through these doors, it makes such a vast difference to them. And the pleasure, and I end up with, I must know 20,000 new people in my life now who will greet me in the street because I've been doing this for the past 15 months. So it has worked very, very well. I think the strain that is put on the booking office at times hasn't been good, because it's been a lot. You've got 12 of us with 20 tickets each, and they all hit virtually every other day. At a point there's a play on. So that's difficult for them. But they manage, and we manage, you know. And the other staff that are involved in actually negotiating it, sending out all the texts and everything else, it really works well. And I always know which step is coming next. So I know what's going to happen. And it's down to me to pass it on verbally to ensure that I don't have 20 people panicking on me, because my phone burns at the end of the day. They all start panicking at the same time. But no, it's worked incredibly well, and I don't think there's been really any mishaps, anyone missed out. I don't think there's been any complaints. There's not, I hope, on my side, because if there are, I've never heard it, you know. And I would always encourage anyone, if they're not happy, come see me. Yeah. You know, I'm quite open, can always solve a problem. So no, it's worked. It's been very effective. Animal Farm was my favourite show. I was completely knocked over, sideways, upwards, downwards, everywhere by it. From the moment the curtains basically drew in front of me, I was in there. It drew me in and it kept me there right through till the end. And I have never seen so much done, special effects, on such a small stage. And it gave you the impression that it was as big as this square. And I believed every single word. And I saw it 4 times in the end. I loved it that much. Paid to see it twice, and I came with 2 groups as well. It was fabulous. I can't remember people's names, but their faces will remain with me forever. And if I could get that show on video, I'd watch it once a week. I adored it. I don't get to go up there at West End and see the big shows, can't afford to do it. But that's where all of that happens, all these big special effects. But to see it on this little stage brought it home to me, the amount of work that goes into producing a show like that. And it deserved every accolade that it got. I would. It's a family theatre. It's open to everybody, including the children, which is nice, you know. If there's kids running around in here, no one's going to take any notice except if they're bouncing off the walls, because it's health and safety. You can introduce your children to theatre, to live theatre, so that they don't think that everything's a TV screen or a computer screen or an iPad, because small children don't realise that there's live theatre unless their parents bring them to it. And they need to understand that that's the next step before you look at a TV. Learn to use your words, learn to project yourself, and it will give them confidence to go out there into the big world. But the community within the theatre is that the working staff in here know each other really, really well. There is no what I would call airs and graces. Everybody communicates with everybody at a really high level. It's really good. So you're always aware of what's going on. If someone's upset, everybody will help. If somebody's really, really happy, everybody's ever so willing to celebrate, and that makes a really close-knit community. That is projected into the people that walk through the door for a show. You cannot get enough help from all the ushers as we're walking along. They sense if you're a bit lost or you don't know what to do with your ticket. They preempt. And you can't, you learn that in the theatre. That doesn't always come naturally. But when you walk through the door here, there's always somebody who will just say, "Are you okay? Can I help?" And it's a lovely, lovely environment. And people can dress up. They can step out of daily life. They can walk through the door and they can wear their finery for one night. And somebody will always remark, "Oh, you look absolutely lovely." That's what families do. And that's how the structure of this place works. And it functions well, right from the very top person down to the very bottom person. It just feels that everybody is on the same level. It really does. And I find it a really comfortable environment to be in. Didn't always feel like that. At the beginning, when I first walked through the door, it was quite daunting because I'd signed this piece of paper to say I've committed myself to you for all these months. And it made me wonder if I had the staying power to do that. And then I realised that actually, not only will I do it, I will be very sad when it finishes because I have had so much benefits from it. And I've made a whole new group of friends that I will always, always acknowledge and have time for. And a building that I love dearly and would hate to see anything happen to it. All my growing up memories with my children are stored in here. And I want to keep that. I'm going to cry. That's silly, wasn't it? To me, Mo Hankin, it means I've finally grown up. I understand theatre in the context of my level. I appreciate behind the scenes as well as what I sit down at the front of the theatre and watch. I appreciate how hard it is to get to that end result. It's a very special place. It's a place for building memories. And you'll always remember a show. And then when you remember that show, you remember what happened on that evening, how the staff were, how the whole process of getting ready to come here was. It's become part of my life, and I will be very, very sad to see it go. And I'm hoping it doesn't disappear completely. Well, it won't for me in a sense, because I'll always come to theatre here, and I always keep track of what's going on. And I would hope that everybody else involved with this would do the same, and keep projecting that this theatre is here, use us please, and I would always do that. But no, it has been an extremely special time, and I can only but thank Stratford East for actually saying, yeah, we'll take a chance on that old dear, we'll have her in. It's been fabulous, and I loved it, and I'm not going to cry, but I do feel a bit weepy this morning. It's not good.